The doorbell rang at 3:47 in the morning. That alone was strange. Marcus Chen had not expected visitors at that hour. His small suburban street was normally silent at night. The only sounds were the wind through the trees and the distant hum of highway traffic. So when the bell rang again, long and impatient, Marcus pulled on his bathrobe and shuffled toward the front door. He opened it halfway, and immediately wished he had not. Standing on his porch was something enormous. The figure was nearly 7 feet tall, wrapped in dark red armor that looked like dried blood. Scratches covered the plates, deep marks that could only have come from terrible battles. 4 glowing eyes stared down at him. 2 were bright amber. 2 were pale silver. For several seconds Marcus simply stared. His brain refused to understand what he was seeing. The creature's face was sharp and angular, with small mandibles near the jaw. A long ceremonial sword hung at her side, nearly as tall as Marcus himself. She spoke. "You are Marcus Chen." Her voice sounded like metal grinding against stone. Marcus blinked. "Ah, yes." The figure nodded slightly. "I am Vexery, warlord of the Crimson Fleet. Commander of the 7th Armed Destroyer of the Colossian blockade." Marcus stared harder. His welcome mat read "Hope you brought wine." He suddenly wished it didn't. "What do you want?" Marcus asked slowly. Vexery paused. For the first time, she seemed uncertain. "I require instruction." "In what?" She leaned slightly closer. "I require you to teach me how to make soup." Marcus blinked again. "I'm sorry, what?" "Soup," she repeated. "The liquid human food made from boiled ingredients." "I know what soup is," Marcus said. "Then you will teach me." Marcus leaned around her massive frame. Above his lawn floated a large alien shuttle, humming quietly in the air. Several armored soldiers stood nearby, pretending not to watch the conversation. Marcus rubbed his face. "You crossed half the galaxy," he said slowly, "to ask me about soup." "Yes." "Why?" Vexery looked away. "That is complicated." Marcus sighed. His brain clearly wasn't awake enough to deal with this. He stepped aside. "Fine," he muttered. "Come in." Marcus discovered very quickly that teaching cooking to an alien warlord was extremely difficult. "Not like that," Marcus said. Vexery had stabbed the onion with the knife. "In combat," she said calmly, "precision strikes are effective." "This is not combat," Marcus replied. She lifted the onion. The onion resisted. Marcus sighed. "It's a vegetable." 2 hours later, the kitchen looked like a battlefield. Carrots were scattered everywhere. 3 cutting boards were cracked. 1 spatula had melted because Vexery held it directly in the flame to test its loyalty to heat. The smoke alarm had screamed 4 times. But Vexery had not quit. She stood in the middle of the kitchen, covered in vegetable pieces and broth. Marcus noticed something strange. She looked frustrated. Not angry. Frustrated. As if she truly wanted to succeed. "Maybe I am not suited for this," she said quietly. Marcus handed her another onion. "No one is at first," he said. "My grandmother taught me. She made me chop onions for a week." "Your grandmother sounds like a powerful commander." Marcus laughed. "She was 4 feet 11. Vexery tilted her head. "That is very small." "She was terrifying." Vexery tried again. This time she chopped more slowly. The pieces were uneven. But they were real diced onion. She held them up. "Acceptable." Marcus examined them. "Better," he said. Vexery's shoulders relaxed slightly. Then Marcus asked the obvious question. "Why soup?" Vexery was silent for several seconds. Then she spoke. "My people do not cook." "Then what do you eat?" "Nutrition packs prepared by servant classes." Marcus frowned. "That sounds depressing." "It is efficient. But not warm." Vexery froze. Her 4 eyes focused on something far away. "When I conquered the Valoran system, there was a human colony ship. It was damaged. My officers recommended destroying it." Marcus waited. I did not, she continued. I ordered supplies delivered. Medical aid. And evacuation support. Marcus smiled slightly. That was kind. Vexery shrugged. It was logical. Then she continued. As we prepared to leave, a human female approached my shuttle. She was very old. She gave me a container. Marcus nodded slowly. Soup? Yes. Vexery's voice softened. I suspected poison. Marcus laughed. Fair. So I did not eat it for months. But eventually curiosity overcame caution. She paused. And it was warm. Marcus watched her carefully. Not physically warm. Emotionally warm. I had conquered hundreds of worlds, Vexery said quietly. But I had never experienced food like that. Food that felt caring. The kitchen became very quiet. What happened to the woman? Marcus asked. I attempted to find her later. The colony relocated. Records were lost. Marcus nodded. So you came to Earth? Yes. You are the inheritor of your grandmother's cooking traditions. You teach ancestral recipes. Marcus blinked. You researched me. I research everything. Marcus smiled slightly. Well, he said. Let's make chicken soup. By the end of day 3, something strange had happened. The Crimson Fleet soldiers had gotten bored. So they started helping in the garden. Marcus watched through the window as 2 massive warriors argued about tomato cages while another carefully replanted his crushed flowers. Your soldiers are gardening, Marcus said. They are learning creation instead of destruction, Vexery replied. The soup simmered on the stove. It smelled amazing. Rich broth. Herbs. Chicken. Marcus nodded. It's ready. Vexery froze. Her claws gripped the counter. What if it is wrong? Marcus leaned back. First attempts always are. What if I fail? Marcus smiled. My grandmother burned everything for 2 years. Cooking is not about perfection. What is it about? Marcus answered simply. Care. Vexery slowly lifted the spoon. She tasted the soup. Then something impossible happened. The most feared warlord in the galaxy began to cry. Marcus pretended not to notice the tears. Vexery wiped her face quickly. Her voice shook slightly. It is correct. Marcus nodded. Good. They ate quietly. For the first time since arriving, Vexery seemed peaceful. After a moment she asked something unexpected. Why do humans cook? Marcus shrugged. To show love. To comfort people. To take care of each other. Vexery frowned. My people show strength through battle. Maybe strength isn't only battle, Marcus said. She did not answer. But she kept eating. The next morning something unusual happened. Vexery returned to the kitchen by herself. Marcus woke up to loud crashing sounds. He ran downstairs. Vexery stood over a pot. The stove was covered in spilled broth. You are cooking? Marcus asked. I am attempting independent operation. Marcus laughed. How's it going? She held up a burnt carrot. The carrot resisted. Marcus smiled. Let's try again. So they did. Again. And again. And again. Days passed. Vexery improved slowly. Her knife skills became better. Her seasoning improved. Her broth became richer. But something else changed too. The warlord began asking questions. Not about cooking. About humans. Why do families eat together? Why do humans cook for the sick? Why do grandparents teach recipes? Marcus answered every question. And Vexery listened carefully. Like a soldier studying a new strategy. One evening she spoke quietly. I have a daughter. Marcus blinked. You do? Yes. She is young. She fears becoming a warrior. Marcus nodded. That's understandable. Vexery stared at the soup pot. My people believe war is the highest purpose. But she asks, why we cannot build instead. Marcus smiled. She sounds smart. Vexery looked thoughtful. I will teach her this. Marcus raised an eyebrow. Cooking? No, Vexery said. Warmth. A month later the warlord left Earth. The shuttle lifted quietly into the sky. Marcus waved as it disappeared. He assumed he would never hear from her again. 3 weeks later a diplomatic courier arrived. It carried a small container. Still warm. Inside was soup. A note rested beside it. Marcus read it slowly. Marcus Chen. I made this for my daughter. At first she did not believe that warriors should cook. Then she tasted the soup. Now she asks questions instead of giving orders. She laughs while chopping vegetables. My officers believe I have lost my mind. Perhaps I have. But the Crimson Fleet has begun building kitchens. My soldiers cook now. They share meals instead of only rations. You have changed more than you realize. The recipe is now archived as strategic cultural knowledge. My daughter calls it the warm weapon. Because it defeats fear. With respect. Vexery. Marcus smiled. But the package contained one more thing. A small data chip. He inserted it into his tablet. A video appeared. Vexery stood in a large alien kitchen. Beside her stood a much smaller alien girl. Her daughter. They were chopping vegetables together. The daughter's pieces were uneven. Her stirring was clumsy. But she was laughing. And Vexery was laughing too. Slow and steady, Vexery said. Like my teacher showed me. What did he teach you? The daughter asked. Vexery stirred the soup. Then she answered. He taught me that the strongest warriors do not destroy worlds. They create warmth for the people they love. The video ended. Marcus sat quietly at his kitchen table. Then he tasted the soup. It was perfect. Warm. Comforting. Exactly right. Somewhere across the galaxy, the most feared warlord alive was teaching her daughter how to make chicken soup. And an ancient human tradition had just changed the future of an alien empire.